guys, it's Tuesday. Generators are good. Generators are good. As I predicted, we lost power about 5 o'clock in the morning. Have not had power since. It's not expected to be on until about 5:30 or 6 o'clock this evening. But still, I decided to come up to the school and see what was happening up here. I still got a little time. However, my battery is almost dead on my phone. I couldn't charge it. I brought a charger hoping one of these small businesses may have a generator and perhaps let me use it to charge. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. I guess until the power cuts out. But with Khmer New Year coming up in less than 2 weeks, and people arriving here about that time or a little bit sooner, I thought I would let you know what to expect. If you go back to my videos almost a little over a year ago, you would have to scroll way down. I apologize for that, but I did my videos on my first Khmer New Year celebration, and it's a lot of fun. Really, it's a lot of fun. You are really getting along with the locals, and they always enjoy watering down a barang, especially the kids. So it's always a fun time, but there are some things you should be aware of. It's probably the biggest holiday here in Cambodia, and most of the town, like all the mom and pop shops and little stores, they will be closed. There are some areas that look like a ghost town. People will travel to their home villages, their home provinces, to celebrate the holiday with their families, and they will just shut down their business and schools and everything. So a lot of what you can get here normally you might not be able to get during Khmer New Year. It does last 3 days. Sunday is the beginning of the 13th, and then Monday and Tuesday. So you will not be able to do any, go to a bank. The government offices will be shut down. Most of the businesses will be closed. However, because it's Siem Reap and it is a tourist-heavy town, and they do get a lot of travelers this time of year, people coming here specifically for Khmer New Year, downtown is always happening. It's always popping, always busy downtown and near Pub Street and the more touristy areas. There will be a lot of things open, and you can go down there and have fun. It's the busiest I've ever seen Pub Street since I've been here. Was last Khmer New Year. It was crazy, wall-to-wall people. You should also know that if you do not want to get wet, I would stay indoors, because if you go outside, especially at night during Khmer New Year, you are going to get wet. People with hoses, people with buckets and pails of water, throwing them randomly into crowds and people walking by. Everybody has their own super soaker squirt guns, the big ones, and they're all pumped up and ready to spray anything or anybody that walks by. I embrace it. I had a lot of fun doing that last year. Of course, the tradition of that is simply way back in the ancient times, I guess you could say, they used water to purify people of their past transgressions over the past year. So water would purify you of all that negativity. And then there is also talcum powder involved. People will come up and just rub it on you or throw it on you. And that was simply used for good luck for the coming year. Of course, mainly now it's not really about tradition, but that's where it's rooted in. It's mainly now an excuse for a big 3-day party for those who are staying behind. And the reason a lot of people travel is because people in Siem Reap, the older middle-aged people, probably came here from somewhere else. They came here for the opportunities that weren't afforded in their villages, and they will be going back, which means also traffic accidents will increase. There's going to be a lot of traffic, so be very careful if you're traveling. And also, there's generally a spike in crime during this time, because you get a lot more people, and everybody knows you're going to have huge crowds down in the big cities, and so people who will want to take opportunity of others will come to towns like Siem Reap. You know, pickpockets, opportunistic crimes usually go up about that time. So just some things to be aware of, because this is coming up, and I want you to stay safe, of course. But like I said, it's generally a very good time. I remember last year walking by some Khmer children with guns, water guns. I had just left first night, and they went to pump up the guns, and their mother was like, no, barang, no. And I was like, no, it's fine, that's what I came out here for. I had all my valuables in a plastic bag in my pocket, so nothing was going to get ruined. I had my waterproof case on the camera I was using at the time, so I could record. So yeah, I was soaked for about 3 days every time I went out, but I was expecting it. It didn't bother me. Most people will hold off if you're showing disinterest, like, no, don't, no, not me. But you're still going to get wet. Basically, if you go outside, you're probably going to get wet. So there's a word of warning about the upcoming Khmer New Year. It's a great celebration, though. A little bit traditional and a whole lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it myself. All right. Gonna go in and see what's happening at the school. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys, it is now Wednesday afternoon. Coming back from my classes in the afternoon. I thought I'd answer a few questions I've been getting in the comments to the best of my ability. And if I would have read this whole comment before, I would have already answered it. Somebody was asking about these old Cadillacs and things you see, especially down by the river. I pass one at the Lanana Resort every time I go by, and they wanted to know if there was a significance to it or what they're for. They are functional. They do drive. You will see several of them actually around town from different businesses. I think mainly it's a status symbol, because an old car like that actually runs nice is a sign of prosperity. If somebody can afford, not only afford it, but also afford to maintain and fix it when something goes wrong, because that would be a little bit more expensive here with some of these older cars. So yeah, I think it's used mainly for certain employees to drive around town for certain tasks, and of course the advertising on the side of the car is good for the business. But I don't think they're used for anything, purposeful. Matter of fact, whenever I see one of those, I always think, why? I mean, it's a struggle sometimes, even with a motorbike or a smaller vehicle, to manage and get down the streets here. I mean, the streets are much too narrow, traffic is much too wild and hectic, and parking is just stop wherever you want. So I wouldn't imagine a big old Cadillac like that, a boat almost, driving these streets. I don't see that really as a viable option, but it is a status symbol, and it is good for advertising because all eyes will be drawn to it because there are not that many. So maybe that's the whole purpose. Hello. So perhaps that's the whole purpose, I don't know, but it does look nice, and people do stop and they do take pictures, I've seen, with it, and so it's a talking point. And then somebody wanted to know about, well, actually several people have been asking me about health insurance and medications here. prescriptions. Now I'm going to speak from what I've heard because I don't have any prescriptions. So I'm not sure how that works, but it's been my experience. Most people have said that you can buy whatever medication you need without a prescription just by walking into a pharmacy, and if they have it, they'll sell it to you for a certain price. I haven't heard of anyone having a real issue. Now there are some medications I realize that may be very, very specific to certain conditions. Those might be harder to come by. You might, if you're coming to Siem Reap, you might have to go to Phnom Penh to buy them. And in some rare cases, I would think you might even have to fly to Bangkok to buy them, because they just might not be available here. But as far as I know, people who have wanted different things have found them here around Siem Reap at the pharmacies. You just walk in, show them what you want, or write down what you want, and you should be good. As far as health insurance goes, that is if you're coming here to live, I would just recommend Googling expat life insurance or expat travel insurance, whichever one, and you'll be given a whole list of options from various vendors. And then, like with everything else, you do your research, find the one that's right for you. It is going to be more expensive than regular insurance, simply because the factors of something going wrong over here are much higher than it would be back like in the United States. You know, you could get bitten by an animal they don't have in the United States. This could cause you to have to go to the hospital. An infection over here can be very bad if you don't treat it. It can become a threatening situation fairly quickly because of all the bacteria here and the fact that that bacteria never dies because it's always hot. So it's always thriving. So even a cut can become serious if not taken care of. So, yeah, health insurance is something that I'm just going to leave up to each individual, because I don't want to recommend one, then I'll just get people saying, no, that one's too expensive. I'll recommend another one. Oh my God, that one doesn't have this benefit, that benefit. Because they have all different kinds of benefits, all different kinds of plans, all different kinds of prices. So I will leave that to you to decide. But yeah, prescription shouldn't be a problem. Should be able to come right over here, walk into some pharmacies, ask around on the different expat Facebook groups, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. I've seen some very specific ones. Hello. I've seen some very specific questions on those groups, and somebody has always had an answer, and I always thought, wow, nobody's going to know this, and sure enough, at least one other person knows. So that's always a good idea. I'm trying to think if there was any other questions. Oh yeah, somebody wanted me to show them how to download and use things like Power Director and the Word. The VPN I told you about in my last video. So yeah, I might do one of those. I might get one of those record your screen with a voiceover type of cheap little programs. Maybe do a quick video for the non-tech minded like myself. Now I'm not a techie, but I do know how to use those two programs anyway, so I can certainly show you how to do that. Oh, we did not get power yesterday until about 10:30 at night. That was horrible. I had to cancel my evening classes. I had to message all the people saying, I don't know what to tell you. It's already 6. We still have no power. Absolutely no lights of any kind. My phone was completely dead for most of that, because I cannot find a place to charge it without walking all the way downtown. I didn't feel like doing that. So, but it did come on about 10:30. So at least it was all set for today. They are expecting more intermittent power cuts on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So I don't know if that's going to affect my area. But people have been given the warning. You can expect a few more outages, although not as severe as this one. I've been here 14 months, This has been the longest time I've ever been without power. So I guess that's a good thing if you think about it, right? But kind of a bad thing because I was without power. So however you want to look at it. All right, I'm going to end this one here. I hope I answered your questions, even the ones I couldn't answer, because you know I would have no idea 100% for sure about medication or health insurance. But if you do have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can check out all my links down below. And if you want to, like and subscribe. All right. I will talk to you guys in the next one.